Beloved of God, greetings from the Franciscan Valley of Prayer and Silence, and may the Lord fill your minds and your heart with His peace. Today is the Wednesday of the 10th week in Ordinary Time, and I've come your way as usual with the daily reflections. Today we are reflecting on the first reading from 1 Kings chapter 18 verses 20 to 39. We are reflecting on the theme, a reminder of Yahweh our God. We all hold allegiance, loyalty, and respect to people who have helped us before at one point in time. We cherish those memories so much, and with it comes an allegiance which is so strong that we would want to do everything within our power to keep it. We hold this allegiance so sacred such that breaking it to us becomes a sin. We do this to venerate men and to honor them for the help they rendered to us and for the contributions they made in our lives. These help could be monetary matters, to help us complete our education, to pay our medical bills, rent a house, or to help set us up in a business. Some also use their influences to get us job opportunities. Beloved, all these helps are magnificent, but none can be compared to the greatest commodity there is, the gift of life. Yet we forget so easily the giver of life and the Lord who protects us each and every day and sustains us in our daily endeavors. Such was the sin of Israel, and such is our sin. And so the prophet Elijah reminds the people of Israel about this God, Yahweh, the ancient of days and the one who sustains the universe. Due to the influence of Ahab and Jezebel, the people of Israel were torn between serving Baal and Yahweh the Lord. So Elijah tries to set them on the right path, but in order not to force them, he would ask them to make a choice. But to make the choice, they needed to know the options they were choosing from. So Elijah asked them this question: how long will you go on limping with two opinions? This isn't the first time Israel is being asked such a question. Moses asked them a similar question and will later ask them to choose between Yahweh and the other surrounding gods from Exodus 32:26. Joshua will later make that same appeal in Joshua 24:15, meaning Israel was prone to forgetting Yahweh. To limp means they were indecisive, they were swinging like pendulum, prostituting between two opinions. Elijah asks, till when are you going to trust the Lord fully? Beloved, lack of absolute trust means lack of knowledge of the God we serve, or forgetfulness about who Yahweh is. The people never answered the question Elijah asked, a sign of guilt. So Elijah needs to refresh their memories about Yahweh in order to help them choose wisely. As Elijah set the rules for the contest, we have to pay attention to his choice of words. It is the first name he gives to Yahweh, the first sign about who Yahweh is. So in verse 24, Elijah will tell the prophet of Baal, call on the name of your God, referring to Baal as a territorial God, a God who can be duplicated with limitations. But he says, and I will call on the name not only of my God, but of the Lord, with a definite article. Yahweh is one, he cannot be duplicated, and he reigns over all because he is the Lord of creation. Elijah will say, the Lord who answers by fire, he is God. He who answers by fire is worthy of our worship and sacrifice. Elijah will later mock the prophet of Baal with carefully chosen words. 1. He is a God with a small letter G. He has gone aside. He is on a journey or he is sleeping, meaning Baal isn't omnipresent. Hence, they needed to shout and cry to him because he is far and he isn't always close to his people. Beloved, Yahweh the Lord is ever present and is always with us. When it got to the turn of Elijah, he asked the people to draw closer to see what is about to happen well, in order to tell generations to come never to forget who Yahweh is. He called for witnesses in order to refresh the minds of the Israelites. Now we focus on Elijah's method. He first repaired an altar of Yahweh which had been broken, meaning God's presence was already there and it has always been there. The grounds they chose itself was a ground of Yahweh. Baal held no possessions. The altar is that which connects Israel to Yahweh. It was the only thing that was broken. So Elijah only had to restore that relationship, and all others will follow. Beloved, We seek for miracles and we do not get. We wait for signs which never count, because the bridge that connects us to God is broken. You have broken it with immorality, lack of prayers, backsliding, idol worship, unfaithfulness, and lack of faith. Just ask the Lord to pardon you and rededicate yourself to Him by repairing the broken altar. That is, go deep down into your heart and repair that broken relationship. Elijah later took 12 stones to build a new altar. That is, to reaffirm the spiritual unity of God's people, Israel, in spite of their political divisions. He rededicated Israel to God. Finally was his prayer. He never cut himself or shouted, because Yahweh was always present. He only said quietly, "Left to me alone, God, I know who you are. But for the sake of your people who seem to have forgotten you, please rise and defend your integrity." Beloved, Yahweh came in his full glory because the sacrifice was ready. He consumed not only the bull, but the stone, the dust, and the wood. And he even licked the water, a sign that he had forgiven Israel of their sins and that he is turning their hearts back to himself. Elijah, with this act, reminds us of the promise of God to Solomon in 2 Chronicles chapter 7 verses 12 to 15, that he has heard his prayer and that he will choose that place for himself as a house of sacrifice, and that if only the people will humble themselves and seek his face, his eyes will be open and his ears attentive to their prayers. They have to make that place their home. The people, after seeing what had happened, bowed their heads and acknowledged Yahweh as their Lord once again. Beloved, has problems, challenges, difficulties, hardship, lack of a marital partner, and lack of job opportunity, and other challenges of life made you forget who God is? Repair that broken altar, that relationship which is broken. Go back to Him and acknowledge Him as the Lord of your life, and be ready to lay yourself on the altar as the sacrifice. When you have done that, His glory will be revealed in your life as you have always wanted. Once again, greetings from the Valley of Prayer and Silence, and have a spirit-filled day favored of Yahweh.